Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Abby and thank you for joining me. So if you guys are anything like me, your TBR is absolutely insane. I thought it'd be fun and make this a little series where we go through my physical TBR, so all the physical books I own that I have not yet read in categories. So today we're going to go through my fantasy and my Greek retellings to keep it kind of organized. We're gonna have gods, we're gonna have monsters, we're gonna have chosen ones and heroes and plot twist, the whole 9 yards. We have so many different variations of fantasy books that I am so excited to talk about. I'm going to kind of explain just why I haven't gotten into them yet. So we are going to go through all of them. I have them organized into series and then just standalones. All around me, I wish you could see my floor, but I do have some where I only have the first book in the series, not the entire ones. I've tried to stop doing that, and we just kind of go through, kind of give you my understanding of the book. We're going to tackle the series first because that is the largest pile I have right here. So we are going to start with Throne of Glass. Currently in the middle of reading Queen of Shadows. So if you'll notice the video prior, I said I gave up because I tried to read the tandem read. I literally forgot Queen of Shadows came after Airfire before the tandem read. So I'm educating myself. I'm listening to the audiobook, trying to catch up. I love it so far. But since we're in the middle of this book, I read The Empire Storms, The Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. All for good reasons, obviously. I haven't read them because I haven't gotten to them yet. However, this isn't like a top priority series for me. I like listening to it. I found an audiobook that has the tandem read sections, just because I like to listen to it while I'm working, while I'm driving. That way I'm just listening to the world building and listening to the characters. I'm not having to read, because I physically think if I had to carry these around for the tandem read and then carry around Kingdom of Ash afterwards, I don't think I'd be able to do it. But yes, that is why I haven't not yet got to the remainder of the Throne of Glass series, because I'm in the middle of it. The next series I have not yet gotten to is, don't kill me, I do love fantasy books, is the Harry Potter series. And this is simply because I'm uncultured. So I broke my leg going on 2 years ago in October, and during that time I was in a hospital bed in our living room, so I had nothing better to do. So my husband finally got me to binge all the movies. My biggest complaint is I hate the Sorcerer's Stone movie. I just can't get behind it. I just don't like it. So after we got done watching that movie, he said if I read the series that he would take me to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal Studios. So I cannot read and or listen to more than one fantasy series or book at a time. I will just get utterly confused, but this will get done, and if it doesn't, I'm still gonna take myself to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And these books just get so much thicker as the series goes on. Do I have the brain capacity for that? Probably not. The next book we are going to talk about is the first book in the series. I do have the second book. Sue me. It is The Stars Are Dying. I kid you not, I made my Amazon wish list 3 to 4 years ago. This was one of the first books I put on it. I think I saw a book on TikTok where the author was talking about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds so interesting. So I got the first book, and I was in Target a few months back, and I saw that we had the second book, The Night is Defying. So I could not tell you what these were about, but they were gorgeous. The story just sounded really interesting. Some of my friends have read the first book. They haven't loved it, but everyone has their own opinions, obviously, so I just haven't gotten to it yet. Once again, I'm reading Throne of Glass, but this isn't a high priority series for me either, because it is still ongoing and still being traditionally published. Also ongoing, being republished. I have tried to get into the series, I think 2 or 3 times in the past couple years. I think I might have to go the route of listening to the books as well. But I was heavily influenced after watching Larry Reed's video with her mom. Mommy Rika read the Zodiac Academy. So I do have the first 2 books in the series. Here's a little tip for me, baby. Why are the first, you can't really tell, but the first 2 books are gold, the 3rd book is silver, and I think I saw on my TikTok today the 4th book is pink. Like this little metallic is pink. I do think I'm going to love this series. I do love astrological things. I have heard a lot of the quotes from these books and they are earth-shattering and devastating, but I do think this is going to be an obvious read. I really am hoping I can get into it by the end of this year. I really want to actually give it my all and get dedicated to the series. I know it is a very, very long series, but it has its own book shelf. Like this shelf is dedicated just to Zodiac Academy and is to get to these books this year. Please hold me to it. Please. The series I have is the Bewitched and Be Spelled by Laura Thalassa. My friend Kylie over on Book Talk, I can link her channel down below, loved this series. She absolutely loved it. She made so many videos about it, and one day I was out and I saw it and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bite the bullet, I'm gonna buy it. Do I know what it's about? No. Wants to be accepted into a coven, probably has trials, the whole yada yada. Kylie loves these books and I trust my friends when they give me book recommendations, so that's why these are my TBR. I don't know when I'm gonna get to them. I did try getting into. I read the first book. I got pretty good with the first book and I just wasn't in love. So I think I might end up giving these to my friend Aurora. She came to visit and I was supposed to give these to her and it just slipped my mind. It is the Shepherd King series. I don't know if I like the magical aspect of it. I've given it 2 tries so far. I just don't know if they're for me. Like I said, I got pretty good into the first book and I was like, I don't love her. I don't really care for her. So that's why she's on the TBRs again. That's why this book is untouched. So if I don't get to it by the end of this year or by the next time I see my friend Aurora, hey Pookie, then I'm just not gonna read them and I'll give them to her. Next one I got simply because we love bestie Sarah. We love her so much, and she made a video that her name was gonna be in this book, and there she is, bestie Sarah. We have The Throne of the Fallen. This is a spin-off series of the Kingdom of the Wicked, Kingdom of the blah 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 blah. This series, it's a spin-off of that series. However, Sarah said you don't need to read that series to get to this series. You'll just be a little confused kind of, but I just thought it was beautiful and I support anything bestie Sarah does. I think it's beautiful. I think this is going to be more of like it getting colder. I don't really love to read fantasy in the summer. However, if a book grabs me, I will be reading it no matter what. But yes, this cover is absolutely breathtaking. The edges are just gorgeous. And Sarah we trust. I don't know how I came across this next book. I think it's a dark romantasy. I could be wrong. Of King Midas reimagined, shows dark side of greed through the eyes of a woman he gold touched. This compelling adult fantasy series is addictive and is unexpected. Romance, intrigue, and danger. The gilded world of Aurea will grip you from the first page. It is Guild. I think Destiny spoke about this book or read this series. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I love dark romance. I love romantasy when I'm in the mood for it. So yes, I have this little baby. It is the black version from Bloom. The black version from Bloom. I really want to get into this. I believe it is on Kindle Unlimited. I really want to get to this book by the end of this year. I don't know if I can finish the entire series by the end of this year, but I do want to read this book and see if it grasps my attention the way I think it will, and then we can go on from there. The last 2 books I have in a series, I have not finished fantasy-ish type books yet, besides Powerful? Fearless? Whatever the next book in the Powerless series trilogy is. I have Skyshade and Nightbane, and I know we're getting a Grimm and Oro type of book. I might order that, but I read Lightlark on the way back from my honeymoon, and I've been married for almost 3 years. You can probably tell she has no idea what's going on. I did pre-order this book because it came with, I don't know where that went, so that's kind of disheartening. It came with a print, the print of Isla in between Grimm and Oro, kind of. I love the way Lightlark ended. If I do go back and get to the series, I will probably need to reread that book. Oh, okay, I just put it in the wrong book. So, Alex Astor had a thing where if you pre-ordered the book and you sent a copy of your receipt to an email address, you would get a little special image. Here's what the image looks like together. So we have King Oro and Grimm and Isla, and it says heart decides the future of the world. Beautiful. And then we have it page overlay, which I really just want to frame these. I keep meaning to frame them. It wasn't in the wrong book. This is for Nightbane. If you pre-order Nightbane, Abby's so confused. Let's talk about it again. I haven't read Nightbane yet, which is the second book that I pre-ordered this. Nightbane is the second book, Sky Shade is the third book. Yes, I have not finished or started these two in 3 years, but I do love the storyline that Lightlark took, so I am going to be getting to these eventually. We're going to finish up the fantasy realm before we jump into Greek retellings. I have five Greek retellings that I want to get to, but we're going to stay in the world of fantasy. I don't know if this is fantasy per se, but it includes time travel. It's the Ministry of Time. My sister's read this book, Destiny's read this book and loved it, Haley's read this book and loved it, so I'm nothing but if easily influenced, so I picked it up. It's at a library sale for $3, so that's why I got it. It's a book of the month edition. Yeah, that's all I really know, that they liked it, so I obviously thought I would like it too. It might just be a fiction book. I got it from my friends Paige and Griffin as a little surprise one day. They also gave me a graphic book, a graphic novel as well by Jeff Lemire called Sweet Tooth, but they gave me Neverwhere. This is one of Griffin's favorite books. I'm not sure if it's a fantasy, but the vibes of it just started fantasy to me, so I literally just put it on my fantasy shelf. That's all I know. I'm obviously going to get to it because my friends gave it to me, and I love when my friends give me things, and I love when they recommend me things, so I will be getting to this. I might ask him for a little bit more information to kind of gauge where on the line she ranks as far as importance in my physical TBR of this sector. If you guys have Apple TV, you've probably seen this show. I love the show. I'm very passionate about this show. It was really good. It sparked my dystopian heart once again. TV, it's called Silo, but the first book is called Wool. I love the concept of this book. I love everything about this book. I was not a fan of the second season of Silo. However, I think it played up nice to set us up for, I think it's called Shift, the next book in the series, and it is pre-Silo. I went to Barnes & Noble's that was going out of business, so this book was like 60% off. It is a special edition, has red edges, and the back is just absolutely gorgeous. I want to read this prior to season 3 coming out just so I can have a better understanding, and I want to read these books as new seasons come out of the book so I'm up to date and I'm not missing anything. The next book I have started, I have stopped, I started again just because, as we know, as I said several times, and I'll continue to say several times when I'm talking about fantasy books, I'm reading Throne of Glass. My brain cannot handle anything more. It's this beautiful work of art, this magnificent work of art my friend Mary gave me for Christmas. Quicksilver, but completely personalized. We have a little scrapbook page, and it is annotated to the gods, y'all. Like, I want to get into this book so bad. I've teetered on just stopping Throne of Glass just so I could experience this. We have book 2 coming out in November, I believe, so obviously I need to fucking finish Throne of Glass really quick. I listened to it on 2x speed. It is not quick enough, but I will be getting to this before November. This is my next fantasy read after Throne of Glass. Quote me on it, hold me to it, harass me about it. This is my next fantasy read after this series. 5 Greek retellings. All of them are a little different. Some of them are adult, some are dark romance-y, and some are found in the young adult section. First book is Phantasma. See, Sarah's read this book. There's a lot of great things. We have Ophelia, and Ophelia's mother died, and her family is in debt, so they enter Phantasma, which I'm assuming is like a competition. She has to win it, and then if she wins, she gets a wish granted, which I assume her family's gonna be like, pay for that, and she's gonna do some fuck shit, and not, because why should she? It's like she'll have a main love interest that she doesn't know she can trust, the whole 9 yards. It's a romantasy in like a game scenario, so we know good is bound to happen from this book. I picked it up once it released, once I heard some reviews about it, and I'm very excited for the premise of this book. The book we have is Blood of Hercules. Another thing, warrior, enter game, try to win, yada yada yada. I downloaded this on my Kindle and I read the first page, and I was not in a space where I was ready to absorb the knowledge that this book was about to give me. I do think maybe I will buddy read this with somebody. Maybe my friend Brittany said she would be interested if we could line it up right. So we might be getting to this one pretty soon. I love Greek retellings when I'm in the mood for them. I think they're so fascinating. I just haven't been in the space for it yet. Next thing I have is Circe, which is the same author as Song of Achilles. People have raved about this one. They said if you read Song of Achilles, you'd enjoy this one. I did enjoy Song of Achilles. It wasn't as heartbreaking as it was to others, as it was to me. I'm really interested in doing a reread and seeing those emotions come to me, but I picked this up because people said this one was also really good. Stoneblind, which has my girl Medusa on it. I do have a Medusa tattoo on the back of my arm. Here she is. She is my pride and joy. I love anything Medusa. I love her story. I love what she stands for in today's modern age. I think she is one of the best Greek gods that we've ever been introduced to or have had a story of. I think she's so powerful, and I think she's completely misunderstood, and I love her so much. So anything Medusa is on my radar. I do want to get to this one before the end of the year. I find Medusa very interesting regardless, so I feel like if I might check if this is on Kindle Unlimited, and if it is, throw it into the loop. I do have a couple of arcs to read on my Kindle, but I also bounce between books constantly, so I think if this is on Kindle Unlimited, it's getting pushed up on the queue. So yes. And I just thought this cover was absolutely gorgeous. This book has been featured in some of my other videos. Another story that Aphrodite has to create a tale for Mount Olympus, or she will face judgment for something. But this book is apparently very sad. It's filled with hope, heartbreak, prejudice, the whole 9 yards. It has Hazel, James, Aubrey, and Colette, a classical pianist, a British would-be architect turned soldier, a Harlem-born ragtime genius in the US Army, and a Belgian orphan with a gorgeous voice and a devastating past. Des read this book and she absolutely loved it. She said this was a very underrated book. And once again, we trust in our girl. We trust in Des, Sarah, Haley, Brittany, Taylor, Jordan, Larry, Heath. We trust all the girls. We really do. So that is why this is on my TBR if I want to get into a young adult, because sometimes young adult books are just such a great palate cleanser for me. This is definitely one that I'm going to lean towards. That is a wrap, you guys. Thank you so much for sitting here with me and going through this monstrous pile. I can take a photo and insert it right here on the screen so you can kind of see what's happening over to my right. It's a little scary, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm excited that I got to actually pull these out and see, because sometimes when they're on your shelves you don't gauge like how many books you have or what they're about until you actually sit through and go through them. So this is so much fun to do. If you guys want, you can go ahead and tell me down below what books are battling for your attention on your TBR. For joining me, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. I just kind of upload on a whim. I don't really have a schedule yet, but thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you again. Bye!